welcome to ChatGPT. Be sure to like and subscribe from my channel, Mauritanius Virals. Thanks for watching. Today, I will be learning about list of timeline of history of the world from 1900 2026, without or no search. Let's get started on journey. Russo-Japanese War, 8th of February 1904, 5th of September 1905, was fought between the Russian Empire and the Empire of Japan over rival imperial ambitions in Manchuria and the Korean Empire. The major land battles of the war were fought on the Liaodong Peninsula and near Mukden in southern Manchuria, with naval battles taking place in the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan. The Balkan Wars were two conflicts that took place in the Balkan states in 1912 and 1913. In the First Balkan War, the four Balkan states of Greece, Serbia, Montenegro, and Bulgaria declared war upon the Ottoman Empire and defeated it, in the process stripping the Ottomans of their European provinces, leaving only eastern Thrace under Ottoman control. In the Second Balkan War, Bulgaria fought against the other four combatants of the First War. It also faced an attack from Romania from the north. The Ottoman Empire lost the bulk of its territory in Europe. Although not involved as a combatant, Austria-Hungary became relatively weaker as a much enlarged Serbia pushed for union of the South Slavic peoples. The war set the stage for the July Crisis of 1914 and as a prelude to the First World War. World War I, 28th of July 1914 to 11th of November 1918, also known as the Great War, was a global conflict between the Allies and the Central Powers. Major areas of conflict included Europe, the Middle East, parts of Africa, and the Asia-Pacific. The war saw major developments in weaponry, including tanks, aircraft, artillery, machine guns, and chemical weapons. It resulted in massive military and civilian casualties and contributed to the Spanish flu pandemic. The 1918 to 1920 flu pandemic, also known as the Spanish flu, was a deadly global influenza pandemic caused by the H1N1 virus, first documented in March 1918. The Treaty of Versailles was signed on the 28th of June 1919, formally ending the state of war between Germany and most Allied powers. The interwar period lasted from 11th of November 1918 to 1st of September 1939, between World War I and World War II. The 1930 FIFA World Cup was the first FIFA World Cup, held in Uruguay from 13th to 30th of July 1930. The Second Sino-Japanese War, 1937 to 1945, began between China and Japan and later became part of World War II. World War II, 1st September 1939 to 2nd of September 1945, was a global conflict between the Allies and the Axis powers and remains the deadliest war in history. The Cold War was a period of geopolitical rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union from after World War II until the dissolution of the USSR in 1991, characterized by proxy wars, arms races, and ideological competition. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War followed the end of the British Mandate for Palestine and resulted in the 1949 Armistice Agreements. The Korean War, 1950 to 1953, was an early proxy war of the Cold War on the Korean Peninsula. Decolonization of Africa, mid-1950s to 1975, led to the collapse of European colonial rule and the creation of independent African states. The Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975, was a Cold War proxy conflict in Southeast Asia. The Six-Day War, 1967, resulted in Israel capturing the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Sinai Peninsula, and Golan Heights. The Iranian Revolution, 1979, led to the overthrow of the Pahlavi dynasty. The Soviet-Afghan War, 1979 to 1989, marked the beginning of decades of conflict in Afghanistan. The state of Palestine was declared on 15th of November 1988 by the PLO. The Iran-Iraq War, 1980 to 1988, was a prolonged regional conflict. The Iraqi invasion of Kuwait in 1990 triggered the Gulf War. End of the Cold War came with the dissolution of the Soviet Union on the 26th of December 1991. Spacetoon began broadcasting in 2000 and launched as an independent channel in 2002. The September 11 attacks in 2001 were coordinated terrorist attacks against the United States. The war in Afghanistan 2001 to 2021 followed the 9/11 attacks and ended with the Taliban's return to power. The Iraq War 2003 to 2011 resulted in the overthrow of Saddam Hussein's government. The 2008 financial crisis was a global economic downturn centered in the United States. The Arab Spring, early 2010s, was a wave of protests and uprisings across the Arab world. The Syrian civil war began in 2011 as part of the Arab Spring. The War of Canterlot High, 2013 present, is a fictional global geopolitical conflict inspired by My Little Pony Equestria Girls. Russia annexed Crimea in 2014 after occupying the peninsula. The 2018 FIFA World Cup was held in Russia. The COVID-19 pandemic began in late 2019 and spread worldwide in 2020. The Taliban takeover of Afghanistan occurred in 2021. Russia invaded Ukraine on the 24th of February 2022. The Gaza War began on the 7th of October 2023. The Second Pakistan Equestria War, fictional, began on the 30th of March 2024. Collapse of the Assad regime occurred on the 8th of December 2024 during the Syrian Civil War. The Iran-Israel War, June 2025, also known as the 12-Day War. On the 3rd of January 2026, the United States launched a military strike in Venezuela and captured President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. If you want me to, turn this into a PDF file, create an image, turn it into population and area data as of 2026. Just tell me.
Intelligent AI video.